then there's something that she is thinking about herself or
a lot of
doing
it comes down to
in the
self-esteem.
relationship, or something that she keeps attracting the same kind of person.
Oh yeah, a lot of it is self-esteem. A
Right.
lot of it is because like,
Right. And with women, so much of it is self-esteem issues with just about everything.
I think everything comes down to self-esteem. Almost everything. You know, the
Which is
choices
why
that
you
you
were-
make,
yes.
the choices that you make, the things that you allow, the things that you accept, and things that you tolerate, the things that you do. Oh, a lot of it has to do with the value that you have upon yourself.
Right.
It's how you value and feel that you're worth. Oh yeah. I mean, I've made some of my very very worst decisions when I was feeling worse about myself. I mean, without question. And but yeah, so when you really do have the value of yourself, you just won't tolerate.
So how, I know you talk about this a lot in your Facebook Live. How do you work on increasing your self-esteem? What are some steps to take?
Oh gosh, no, this I love. You know, the first thing is the very very first thing that I tell ladies to do is, you know, if you're struggling with this, and we all do, and we just do. Even people that you think have it all together, they struggle as well. And you know, we think people that look a certain way, or they look perfect, or you think that they have a perfect life.
Sometimes they're the ones struggling the most.
They're all the same. But if it is you, and the first thing, you know, I had a gal that got a hold of me this week, and said that she was so low she couldn't get out of bed, and she was and she told me some of the things that were going on in her life, and there were some pretty heavy things. And I said, well, the very first thing to do is get out of bed, and because you can't live there. I mean, you can't stay there. The first thing to do is get out of bed, and in doing so, get out of bed, and when you take a shower, comb your hair. And that might be all that somebody can do on that day. And I get it. Mm-hmm. I get it. That might be the only thing that you can mentally and physically do because you feel so badly. And I get that. And the first thing to do is get out of bed, take a shower, comb your hair. And then she was, struggling with some financial things, and
sometimes that is absolutely crippling.
She was crippled,
right?
She was absolutely crippled. I mean, it was everything was not everything, but she had there are a lot of things going on in her life, and even that she said that she had no food. She had no food in the house, and I mean, it was really, really bad. And I mean, it said that the only thing she had in the house was dog food. Like, she thought she might have to eat dog food. Okay. So I sent her over some in her area, you know, some food pantries. Let's start there, you know, because she couldn't even think enough to do that. You know, she was so low. So I said, okay, let's start there. And she's not in my state. Otherwise I would have run her, you know, food over, but she's not anywhere near me. And but I said, take a shower and then go, you know, her phone was turned off. But she did have internet. So I said, find these places and go. And it was just, my heart was broke because for someone to feel, and then, you know, she was just telling me how she feels so low about herself and so badly about herself. And a lot of it was from a bad relationship, was very, very abusive, physically and emotionally and mentally, all of it. And then, so it started there, and she just went in a spiral. She just went in a downward spiral. And I just, it's like you just want to save her, but you know, here's the fact. I can't save her.
She has to save herself.
She has to save herself. Yeah. And that's, you know, she has to save herself. You know,
and that's the time where it's a time of you want to stay sequestered and away from
Oh,
people.
you don't want to
And
get out of that.
And yet it's the time to allow people to help you.
Well, I took it as an honor and a responsibility that she reached out to me, because she was, I was afraid that she would, do something to herself. I mean, she was so low. And so I said, okay, let's start there. Let's get some food. And I mean, when someone contacts me and says literally that they think they're going to have to eat dog food.
Right.
Where do you go?
So that's really sad. And I feel really bad for that person. And hopefully she did reach out and get some help.
I hope she did.
But you know what? That was me. I had nothing. I lost everything. You don't know that, do you?
Mm-mm.
I went from making $150,000 a year to nothing when the real estate market crashed.
That's not.
And I had no food. I had to pick between getting my gas turned off or my electric turned off.
What'd you choose?
I chose gas because I had an electric heater and an electric stove, and I could heat up water in the tub heat up water on the stove and dump it in the tub
to take a bath,
to have a bath.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one luxury I was not willing to give up. And had it not been for my friends bringing me food, I wouldn't have eaten. Had none. I would not have eaten. I weighed 99 pounds and my size 3s were big.
And, it's really easy to say. I won't be there. Mm-hmm. Isn't it? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really
that couldn't happen to me.
What did she do to get herself in that? What did she do to get herself in that situation?
And it's really not what you did to get yourself in that situation.
No, that's my point. It isn't.
Yes, that's
it's
exactly
circumstances
right.
that happen,
right.
And that's what I'm saying. That is one of the bad things is people will say, "Well, what did she do to get herself there?" Well, you know what? Don't ever think that it can't happen to you. And I love that. I love the movie The Pursuit of Happiness.
I don't know if I
you haven't seen it?
Who's in it?
Will Smith.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, you must. You must.
I will. I'll write it down.
Yeah. But it's where people think that they can't be in that position. Oh, you'll love the show. That'll be you definitely must see that. You must see that, The Pursuit of Happiness. But no. Now, did you not have family around? Or just don't have family?
I didn't have family around, but my friends were my family.
Got ya.
And without them, I really, literally would not have eaten. I
get it.
I always call him my brother, but we were really good friends, and him and his wife were like really good friends of mine. And they used to make big batches of soup and put them in Tupperware containers.
And bring them over.
And I'd freeze them. And then I'd have food. And my one friend that I wasn't doing real estate anymore, and that's a whole nother story, would bring me food to my other job, and that's how I ate.
Wow. Well, how did you get out of it?
I just kept plugging away, and at the lowest part, my drain was plugged up. My basement was flooded. And it took everything in me to get out of bed and go to work every day. And I was just barely making anything. Just enough to keep the electric on and gas in my car. And I met my husband. And I didn't want him to come over.
No.
I mean, we dated for a while.
Sure.
And I
You're
didn't
probably
want him to come over, right? And he did come over, and then things started picking up at work a little bit, and I put my house on the market, and he helped me get it ready to put on the market, and then from then on, I just didn't give up, and I wanted
you
to.
Want it? Oh, I can't imagine.
Before I met him, I was making plans to move back to where I grew up from. To my family.
To go, because there comes a point you didn't want to go back.
I didn't want to go back.
Really? Okay.
I felt like I was making a big step backwards, And yet that would have been my next step.
Because there comes a point where you have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to survive, whatever that means. And that was the gal that I was talking to. She was saying that she was thinking about becoming an escort. She said, because I can do that. I can do that. And I thought, oh boy, let's.
That's a rough way to go.
That's what I said. And
that opens up a whole nother can of worms.
Well, it does. And what I mean, it was just really, really bad. And then she said, of course, there's danger there. There's a lot of things that could. So there's a lot of cons to being,
yes.
all that. And she said, I don't care. She said, I don't care if they kill me,
because she was desperate.
Her desperation has gotten so bad that she didn't care that if she became an escort, they killed her.
So have you talked to her since?
I sent her a message this morning.
Good.
And I haven't heard back, but I will. I definitely will follow up with her because it's like she needs some major help. But like I said, the first thing she needed to do was get out of bed and get some food.
Right.
I mean, that was just that's something you have to do. You have to get up. You have to go. You have to. This is literally survival.
Right.
Before you start eating dog food, let's get you to let's talk about a shelter. Let's talk about
food pantry,
a
church, any place.
Anything.
Right.
Exactly. And I am fortunate because I'm like you. I have friends and I have family, and I have if I were in that position, I'm blessed to know that I have people that will help me.
Right.
And sometimes I think we take that for granted. I think we take it for granted when we have these things and we have these people and we have support that we don't realize
how important. Yeah.
How blessed you are.
Right. Exactly.
I think we take it for granted.
So let's take this one step further.
Okay.
So we know that there's people like that. Mm-hmm. It might be one of your friends right now.
Sure. And people are, and sadly, people are ashamed.
They are.
They're embarrassed.
They don't
and ashamed.
want people to know.
They don't want people to know. But you know what? Reach out. Because if I had a friend right now that was in that, and then they didn't tell me.
Oh, you'd be hurt, wouldn't you?
I'd be so mad.
So what are some signs to look for? They're losing weight.
Well, you tell me.
They're losing weight.
Okay.
They aren't taking as good a care of themselves as they used to. They don't return your phone calls.
Okay.
They avoid you.
Okay.
You invite them to go places and they turn you down.
Okay, but because they don't have money to go.
Right.
They don't have money to go. Rather than say, I don't have the money to go, they'll just say, I don't want to go.
Right.
Okay, and these are all things that you did.
Yeah.
These are things that you did, that you just turned them down. Why didn't you reach out and say to a friend, I need help?
Because I was the one that always helped everybody.
Was it that you were embarrassed or ashamed or?
I don't know. I wasn't embarrassed. Oh, maybe I was a little bit. I was shocked. I think I was in shock that so many things could happen so quickly to put me in the position that I was in when life had been good for so many years.
Yeah.
And
you never thought you would be there. You never thought you would be there.
And I kept thinking, well, this will work out. Things will work out.
Yeah.
And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Finally, I couldn't keep up that brave face anymore. I couldn't do it.
How long did this go on?
Probably a year.
A year?
Well, it started and at the end of 2008 when the real estate market started slowly going down.
Yeah.
And then I had some horrible things unfold that people actually did do them to me. They did horrible, horrible things, and I never thought that these people would do.
Oh, I've had that. I've been on the receiving end of that,
and that was like such a shock.
It is a shock because you think that they,
things you would never think to do.
You would
ever,
never to do,
ever.
and you would never do, and you would never think they would do that to you. They would ever think that they would do it to you, ever, and then until they do,
right.
And
I still, when I look back, I did not see that coming. I did not see that chain of events happening.
I believe it. I've
And
had feels
so
like that too.
shocked me and hurt me, and that put me in that incapacitated state where I didn't even want to do anything because I
then
was
you don't know who to
so
trust.
shocked, right?